show you the colors we're gonna start with. So red, white. This is for you to put, to put on your palette. Red, white, blue.
I wouldn't say no.
2 kinds of cheese?
Oh, one's good enough for me.
Yeah. And blue. Right. Blue.
Red, white, blue, and maybe we'll have our black and our yellow on the side, not on the palette yet, but just on the side, so we can maybe use it a little bit later.
Dark blue or light blue?
I have dark. So if you have the darker one, you can use this darker one. If you only have light, that's fine. We'll use the light.
Yeah.
I
Blue's light.
prefer this type of blue to mix. And I was saying that my page is like an entire, my canvas is an entire page, but I just put tape right here because this is where I'm going to stop. My painting will be this size. And I'm going to show you the painting that we're going to do today. We are going to do, I think it is a sunset. Although I'm not sure if that's the moon or the sun. So this is our painting today. Sorry, I'm just board here. So that's our painting.
Oh, it's nice.
Wow, that's
So you can take, a picture if you wanna have a guideline, but we'll go step by step.
Step by step.
Oh, stop moving it.
Sorry. So we'll start with our background. So that means the sky and the lake. If you notice, the colors are very similar, but they're mirroring each other. So closer to the trees is more pink, both up and down. And as you go away, it turns more purple. So we'll do that. So the first thing we're going to do is we'll start with the pink. No, sorry, the purple. So we'll have red and blue. So I'm just fixing my camera because it's tilted a little bit. So red and blue and white on our palette right now. I'm gonna start with a large flat brush like this. Flat and large, the largest one you have. So I'm just getting white into my palette. This blue. And red. This red. So my first color, I'm gonna grab blue and red. Put it over here. So I like to put it side by side here. I'm gonna start with equal amounts of red and blue, and I start mixing it. And my blue is very strong, so I noticed that I need to add a lot more red. So that's what I'm going to do. Good. So I'm starting to get a purple.
Purple.
We're mixing purple, yes. And once I get my purple, I am going to add white. When I add the white, I just start little by little. So I put it on the side to make sure I'm not adding too much all at once. Okay. I think I want a lighter purple. And even just a little bit lighter. So again, to mix purple, you use blue and red, and we're wanting a lighter, or like a lilac purple. I'm gonna test it to see if I like it. Maybe we'll add a little bit more white. If you see your color is too blue, add the other color, so that you add red. I think that's close enough. So I'm gonna start at the top, the very top, and at the bottom, just the edge. I'm gonna do it a little bit fast just because my paint is going to dry otherwise, but you follow your process. So at the top and at the bottom, just one line, left to right. Yeah. And the next step I want to do is the color I have on the palette. I'm just gonna add white. So this is my color. I just keep adding white. I'm running out of my color, so I need to mix again. So it's better to mix quite a bit, so you don't have to mix again every single time. And ideally, sorry, you do it quickly. So this paint has not dried yet. And we're able to mix it a little bit left to right, and I even go a little bit up.
Right? Everything that you touch turned into a pet. I don't know. That'd be pretty interesting. That's a pretty neat take on this. You know, hey, maybe we can decide to, maybe by the end of the novel, we can consider writing our own stories about something you touched. It could be whatever, and you can choose anything.
And again, at the bottom here, I am going to
Yeah, I like that thought.
Just continue with the next line here. So remember, we're doing a mirror image. You can blend it a little bit. And we'll keep going. So this time I'm gonna add a little bit more blue, just a dot of blue, and more white. So my trees would be around halfway here. So this is where I want to go. So I'm just going to review what we've been doing up till now. So we are mixing purple, a light purple, with red and blue and white, just a little bit of white. And I put it on the edge, the two edges of my painting, the darker one, and I paint left to right. And as I go down or up, I just add more white to make it look a little bit lighter. At this point, we will be using quite a bit of paint, so it's easier if you mix quite a bit of red and blue, and then we'll just continue adding the white. Because this paint dries fast, so it's easier if you already have it mixed on your palette. Just back and forth. Maybe here at the bottom, we can go even on the edges a little bit with the lighter. Just the edges and just a little bit with the lighter purple. So now we're gonna change the color to a more pinkish color. So this is my last color that I had. I'm just gonna add red and more white. And I'm gonna test it. Don't be afraid to go over the parts that you already painted if needed, just to blend it a little bit. Left to right, quick strokes. of my pink. I add more white. Again, when we add a new color, to make sure it's not too much, I just put it on the side and start adding just by little bits. Because if you add too much, then you have to add the other colors back again to balance it. Some of this paint will get covered by your trees, but that's okay. And just try to remember where your trees are going to be, which is about midway here.
The food. Mom?
You can dip your brush into the water really quick. It's like in and out, and then your brush is wet, and then grab a little bit more color from your palette, so it is a little bit more runny on the paper. If you're having trouble blending, then try having all the colors on your palette from the beginning, so you're just putting them on the paper, and they don't, like, you don't give it a chance to dry.
This isn't. You know.
Just going back to a darker color.
And what you call it?
It's easier if you have a larger brush and lots of paint on your palette. So as some of you may remember, the way I like to do skies is at the top of my painting, it tends to be darker. Then here it's a medium color, and at the horizon, it's usually very light. So try to remember that. We're going to from dark to light, light to dark. And maybe we're just going to add a line of really, really light pink or purple here. So just so you remember where our line is. Oh, sorry, that's not the color I grabbed. And remember to take a second to step back from your painting and look at the entire picture, look at your reference from the picture. See what needs to be lighter, or try to notice what needs to be lighter, what needs to be darker, what needs to be maybe more red or blue. If you need to go back to the first colors we use, you can do that. Mix again. Try to make sure they're very close, because sometimes when we mix again, it's hard to get the exact same color. And again, I'm just going to repeat my white line or area for the horizon. Just make sure it's blending. And for the lake, I bring it down a little bit on the sides, especially. Whenever I paint skies, it's left to right. Maybe you can do a little U with your brush to blend it. Okay, I think that's my sky. I'll wait for you to finish yours. We'll let it dry, and then we will paint the trees and I think it's the moon, maybe. And yes, so once you're done with the sky, you can wash your brush. Just gonna add a little bit more pink.
Are you ready to eat, Mom?
Yep.
Did you say yes?
Double painted and eating.
I think it's just perfect today. Do you need a drink?
I'm just adding more white. It's almost pure white. This will probably get we'll probably paint the trees over this, but it's just to get a sense of where the horizon is.
Don't bear, don't eat.
I'm going to eat.
I'm gonna get that light color. I'm gonna paint with short strokes
Mom?
around the edge of the lake. So from this part down, I'm gonna get a little bit of light or lighter paint here on the left side, and on the right side I'll try to leave this dark. So lighter, lighter, darker. Just a little bit. It doesn't have to be too much of a difference, but something that we can see. You can even go back with a darker purple and go to the center here. This is for our lake. So again, this a little bit lighter, to the right side a little bit lighter, the center of our lake just a tad darker. I think I'm done now, so I'm gonna wash my brush now. And I'll give you 1 or 2 minutes just to catch up. So we have to do this fast just because the paint dries, but you should try to do it fast too so your paint doesn't dry. Sorry, now that I took a step back and I looked at my painting, I'm just gonna get this little white section a little bit thicker. It's too thin. So, but if yours is a little bit bigger than mine, that's fine. Because this will get covered by the trees, so I want to make sure we do see a little bit at least. I'm just getting light and the previous color I had, white and the previous color I had. So there's my horizon line, a little bit thicker. Sometimes I grab a dry brush and blend it a little bit more. And I'll wait for it to dry now.
Hello? Hello? Oh.
If you're all done with your background, we can paint the moon with just pure white, just a white circle. So I think it's about here. So I'm gonna clean my brush. I think the key for your painting is to make sure that you see the difference between the center and the outer lines or sections, and that the center is light and you have enough space. If it's too thin here, maybe you need to bring it out a little bit more. And so for the moon, it's just white. So I'm gonna grab white and just draw a circle. If you're not too confident with your circles, start with a small one, and then we can bring it out a little bit. Actually, I think my brush is too big. Let me just switch brushes. So it is just white. Start with a small circle, and if you like it, we can bring it out just a little bit bigger. If you can see through the paint that is underneath, that's okay. We can put more layers
Circle
after.
I can use for my moon.
A tiny circle?
Hmm.
So my moon is a little bit purplish,
How small?
so I'm gonna let it dry
The lane.
and add more white after.
You like that?
Bigger,
What?
bigger.
Bigger?
I think it's drying, so I'm gonna clean my brush. I don't need to put it in water, but the white I already have is a little bit it has a little bit of a purple tint because I was drawing, so I'm gonna make sure I remove that. So the new white I put in is completely white, no purple.
What did you get your water? What about this?
And once you're done with your purple, you can wash your brush. You can grab a flat brush again. Make sure the flat brush is thin. So I'll be using this one for our trees, which will be black.
Did that work?
I'm using the smaller one because I can make it bigger.
Remember, if you're done with a brush, so I'm done with this one, it goes into the water right away.
We used all the pea.
Yeah. But
Did you like that? Like pea?
And we're gonna put black
You
into our
can-
palette. If you have a bigger flat brush, grab the biggest one you have. So hopefully this is dry. It is for me. So I'll get started so you can see what I'll be doing. But basically, the first thing I'm going to do is draw a line as a guideline with just black. So I have just black here on my palette. I grab a little bit, put it anywhere, make sure I always grab the paint with the tip of my brush. I don't need the paint to go down here. And so I kind of try to see where the line would be. And it would be around here. Doesn't have to be perfect because we're gonna paint around it, so we're not gonna notice if it's a perfect line. After I do the line, I'll start drawing the trees. So first, I'll do it with my brush pointing down like this. Later, I'll do it like that. So first, like this, like flat against the paper. And I'll just do quick strokes. If I don't have too much paint, it's fine. It actually is better just a little bit of paint just going up. And here on the sides as well. You see how when it gets to the top, there's almost no paint? That's what I like, or what I want. So what you will do is, again, flat. If you have lots of paint, go close to the line. As you run out of paint, you can go higher up. And once I've done a few, then I'm gonna do it this way. So I was doing it like this. Now I'm gonna do it like this. So I get a thin line. And I'm gonna go over what I already did, but higher with more paint on my brush. And you can do different sizes, different spacing in between. And basically we fill it out. So it's going to take a few minutes. So start maybe with the bushes at the bottom like this. So my brush like this, looking down, flat against the paper, and I go up. Make sure you have paint, enough paint at the bottom here, because at the bottom it needs to be dark. And the sides, the trees will be higher, than they go maybe up to here, and then they once again get high at the edges. So again, if you have a larger brush, please use that one. It'll be faster. What you can also do is if you have a lot of paint on your brush, just redo the main line here, and then you bring it, the paint, you bring it up. I'm gonna repeat that. So I have lots of paint on my brush. I redraw the line here, the horizontal line, and then I bring the paint up with quick and brush strokes with very little pressure.
What's going on?
Going through.
Well, I'm taking the garbage out.
Hmm.
And once I have a few of those, then I'm gonna do the tiny lines here to indicate maybe a few more trees, different sizes. Make sure they're different. If you do the lines very similar, the same size and the same spacing between each other, it may not look like trees, because nothing in nature is perfect. So, or symmetrical, I mean. So make sure they're not symmetrical and they are spaced out randomly. Here at the edge, I want to make them taller. It doesn't have to be perfect. And I like it when it looks like my brush is running out of paint for the trees, because it gives it a little bit of a rough texture or illusion, and your eye from farther apart will think it's just trees. So I'll bring it closer so you can see. You see that here there's a little bit of paint, but the paint from the background is coming through the black. That's what you want. Like a rough texture. At least at the top. At the bottom, you do want the entire brush to cover the paint that is underneath.
you, Tina.
What are you doing with that one?
Two paintings.
Remember the tree. So with the edge of my brush, sorry, this the very tip is what touches the canvas, and I just go down or up. Make sure you have a lot of paint for this part, for the lines. Okay. And I'm gonna do the same thing or very similar thing with the bottom. But this time I won't do these tiny lines. I will just draw my line here, my horizontal line with a lot of paint, and then just bring it down. But I want to make sure that is the same length as the top part. So here is this part is tall here, so the same height from here. I need to bring it down so it's like they're mirroring each other. And you don't need a lot of paint, and you don't need these tiny lines. It can look a little bit more rough. So it's easier for me if I just draw the line right here with lots of paint and bring it down. Again, the line here with lots of paint and drag it out down.
Okay. Oh, okay. Um, I'm Jaffa. I'm in COVID-19 in COVID-19 in stay home homes. I'm not good. I'm not a good. I'm not out. I'm
So I'm doing the bottom part. The bottom part, I do these lines, but with very little paint. And you can even grab a dry brush and kind of blend it a little bit so it's more rough.
加饭你有问题是吧？加饭你是不是有问题？你要问什么？你要开声音啊！
So the key for the trees is try to go up, down, up, down. Don't go side to side. And the majority or the main, the section that has the most paint is right at the center. As you go up or down it, there's less and less. Okay, I think we're almost done with our trees. I want to make a few lines here, like the spikes, as we did before, but with much less paint.
Did you add some green?
No, it's just black. But you can add a dot of green to make it look a little bit, or just to have a little bit more depth. But I am just doing black. So this little spikes right here that you see, that's what you want. Let me bring the camera closer to you. Sorry. So you see this little lines here? That's what you want at the bottom. With very little paint. So I'm not putting my brush like this because that's too thick. I'm putting it like this. And I don't have too much paint. It's just whatever I drag from the top. You can even do it down, it's better because you can drag more paint. So I'll wait for you to catch up because I want you to do the next step with me. So at this point, what it's important is to have lines up. You see at the top, I have lines, thick lines going up. We're gonna use a few of these lines later. And on the bottom, I have the same lines going down, but with much less paint. So they look a little bit more rough. And that it looks symmetrical, so what is on the top, it is on the bottom. And I'm gonna wash my big brush here. We're gonna need a tiny one for the next step.
家爸，你要开你的声音吗？你刚才你要问什么？
No problem.
OK， thank you。
唔該啊，咩老師啊？嗰、佢嗰隻紫色係點調嘅？我調唔到嗰隻顏色出嚟啊！問下佢啊。
藍色佢係調藍色同埋紅色，不過如果係太深咧，你一味加白色加到佢差唔多係個淺紫色咁咯。
哦，OK，唔該。
你一步
我就調唔到啲顏色，調到變咁色啊！
哦，係啦，你要加多啲白色，唔緊要，加多啲白色。
OK，係啦，調嚟調去，調唔到嗰啲顏色，唔該你。
所以你見佢咧，佢會喺旁邊嗰度試下個顏色㗎，佢會試下睇下靚唔靚，試下中唔中意，咁先至塗落去㗎。
OK，好，唔該。
那个老师啊，我刚才问了你一下，就是那个绘画那个材料啊，你回答我说在诺兰山那个地方去找老师，我怎么跟他联系啊？我怎么去拿？
我会帮你联系你跟我讲你要几时去，我就叫他放在门口外面，你就去拿，我就给你地址。
哦，好的。
OK，
好的。啊。
我说你看一下。
Silvanna?
Yes?
Yeah, one of them had a lot of trouble getting the purple color. She said your purple color is so nice.
Oh.
So,
well, sometimes it's just the kind of red that
yeah.
you have. Whenever because there are two types of red, and it's tricky. Some, or the one I have is deep red, which I like to mix it. Sometimes the main sets come with a brilliant red. Sometimes they look more orangey, but I think if your color looked too dark or too blue, we just needed to add more red, even if it's this one.
Oh, not white?
Yes, white as well to make it lighter, but if the color is not looking purple-ish, if it's looking more bluish, then it needs more red.
OK。如果老師話，如果你嘅紫色即係講似藍色多啲，係咪？你要加多啲紅。
OK。
不過都係要一直來，一係要加啲白色咁樣先變到淺色。不過你嘅紫色咧，同老師嘅紫色咧唔會一模一樣嘅。如果每個人個紅色都唔同，每個人嘅藍色都係唔同㗎。
哦，OK。
淨係紅同藍都有好多種紅，好多種藍嘅。
哦。同埋可能老師個底板嗰塊紙又唔同我哋嗰啲紙啊，所以一填落去嘅顏色就變咗唔同啦。
Do you have the same paper as them, Silvanna?
No, I did last time. This is the canvas paper, but it's about the same.
OK， 係啦，你講得啱，老師嘅紙同唔同，係咯，
因為佢嗰塊好似板咁嘅，唔係白紙嚟咁，佢好似有啲格嘅，所以一填落嘅顏色又唔同啦，變咗。
So you're using canvas, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
but last class I painted on the same paper as them, and it's about the same. It's just mine. It's a little bit. It takes a little bit more to dry, which at this point is better if theirs dry faster, so we can keep going.
Okay.
Lão sư嗰個專業畫架嚟嘅，梗係啦。我哋嗰啲用張白紙嚟寫。
你係我哋你係去拎嗰本細本嘅嘢係咪？
係啊。
OK。
呢支啊？
啊？
我冇架撐喎，我想畫畫喎，可以同我買一套幾多錢？我俾緊錢你啊？
你冇去拎咩？
我冇啊，我冇架撐啊。
你冇架撐啊？咁你咪去拎咯，我俾你地址，你叫你兒生仔去拎。
我叫個女去拎㗎，我去收。
好啦，你叫你個女去拎啦，我寄地址俾你。
幾時有啊？
今日星期幾啊？星期一，聽日啦，聽日去拎啦，
聽日啊？哦，OK。
So the very first class we painted this, and I painted on the same paper that they have. So it's the same. This paper, I like painting on that paper too.
好靚，好靚，真係。
This was our first class 2 weeks ago. It's the same. It's just for me, it's easier because the one I have is too big. It's for me, just the size is easier. But either or, it's fine as long as it's not regular paper that gets wrinkly with water.
Yeah. 係咯，唔同紙唔同嘅結果㗎。
哦 ，OK。
唔同嘅。
Okay, so we'll go ahead with our next step. So I want to draw more detail into our trees. We don't have to do it for all of them, but just a few. I'm going to get black.
Okay.
Make sure you have a small brush.
Oh.
And let me bring it closer to you. So I pick a line and then I go side to side here. Sorry, I think I need more paint, but just generally a line. I'm gonna do that again so you can see. So I have black paint on the tip of my brush. I pick, let's pick this line here. Sorry, this one. So this one. So I'm just gonna go left to right.
Oh, yes, tree.
Yeah, that's our tree. You don't have to do it for all. Just a few. Maybe just 5, 6, or 8.
Yes.
Not all of them.
Oh.
Left, right. Maybe this one. And I'm gonna show you what I'm doing. So if this is this is my tape that I'm going to remove later. So if this is your line, you have 2 options. Option number 1 is just like this. As I go down, my lines are bigger.
Yeah.
Option number 2 is kind of a triangle shape with my line.
Yeah.
Sorry, let me bring it closer so you can see. So option 1, left to right. Option 2 is just it's pointing up. My lines are pointing up.
Oh.
Either or are fine. Whatever you think looks better. And just a few, you don't do all of them. maybe do 5 trees, 5 or 6 trees. And then we'll go with our next step. And do one of them at the edge. So this is my edge here. Okay, those are my trees, the detail. So I did, I think 6 or 7 trees, and I think I'm done with the black. So I am going to wash my brush now. We'll do a few highlights on the water, and we're almost done. So I'll give you another minute to finish the detail for your trees. If you are already done, you can get white ready, just pure white on your palette, and a flat brush. A flat and thin brush. So the brush I'm going to use is this one. If you have a bigger one, please use a bigger one. I think the one, my neck size is too big, so I'll just keep this one. And I'm gonna grab white. So the white I have, it's on my purple, so I'm just gonna grab it from there. If it's mixing, that's good. If not, that's okay. So just white. And we're gonna do a few lines. So the main lines will go under the moon. They are not straight lines, and they are not symmetrical or evenly spaced. So whatever you see on my painting or the reference painting, try to follow that guideline. And around the edge of the water or the lake, we want to make a little indication that it ends there, the trees end there. So whenever I load my brush with paint, that's where I have the most paint. I go under the moon. Once I'm running out of paint, I start to go farther out to leave more subtle strokes. And now for my final touches, I am going to continue doing the highlights, but a little bit thicker. So pure white, just white, under the moon. I do bigger ones, so more pressure in my brush. And I'm gonna make a few highlights on the tree. So remember where the moon is. So if the moon is at the center here, then my light will be towards that side. So if I'm at the right side of the painting here, my light will be looking towards the moon. So I'm just putting dots, really following what I imagine are trees here and there. And if I'm at the right side of the picture, then, sorry, at the left side of the picture, then my highlights again looking towards the moon. I'm just going back and forth with my other colors to add a little bit more depth, more detail here. But you don't need to do this part if you're happy, I think. It's just hard to mix the same color again. You can try it, and if you get it, you can.
我陣間 call 翻嚟，個 class 就嚟完㗎啦。拜拜。
If not, that's okay. And that is my sunset. Let me bring this higher up so you can see it better. And as always, we sign and date it. Make sure you clean your brush. You can sign with any color. I'm gonna do it with black. And you can sign anywhere. I like to do it at the bottom.
This painting is so beautiful.
Oh, thank you, May. So remember to sign. You don't have to put the entire date. You can, but I like just to write the year. Okay, so I'll give you a few more minutes to catch up. Remember to clean your brushes after you. Oh, sorry, my camera's not stable. Remember to clean your brushes.